Hi, good evening, everyone. Yeah, first, congratulations to the organizer. What a wonderful setting it is. Yeah, having the 30, under 30 awards in a pub. It couldn't have been better. So thank you, the team, for organizing this. And what I would like to do is not give a big speech. I think the best thing would be I'll open it up. I love the format. Ask the questions, and you'll get a perspective. So let's open it up and ask me any questions with a very clear rider that no question is a bad question.
So we're going to be passing the mic. We can see our, no, not here, ma'am. That side? Yeah. You'd like to ask a question? Please stand up. Check.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Loud and clear.
I was just going to say that.
All right. So my question is, while all workplaces strive to strike a balance between female and male, equations, but female professionals have to battle unsaid, intangible prejudices. For example, male group burdenism. While it's prevalent in both genders, it is extremely tough for female next-gen leaders to figure out their way to grow into their career, where there is a lot of top management as male members and female top leaders are there for namesake. And these are very unsaid things that happen in our industry, where a lot of people are appointed just to show there's diversity. But how do we grow in our careers fighting these odds?
Thank you for that question. Now, I come from a family where I have a wonderful wife, Mona, and we have two great twin daughters. Yeah, and I've been greatly influenced by my grandma, who was, she passed away at a very ripe age of close to 100. And she was a matriculate. And when she would come and stay with us, and I would come back from work, she would sit with me and ask me, what did I do the whole day? And she would have an opinion on it. Yeah? And so I believe that humanity has done injustice to women. If you go back to Vedas, yeah, women were equal partners. But over the years, there has been injustice. When I took over as the CEO of HUL, we had 18% women in management. When I left, we had 46% women in management. Yeah? And a clear pathway that in another 2 years, we would be gender balanced. When it comes to women, I think the most important thing you have to do is don't try to be like men. You don't have to be like men to succeed. You have to be absolutely comfortable in your skin. You bring in strengths which men don't have. And you will be able to blossom only when you're able to play to your strengths. Yeah, very often, in most organizations, they focus on how do we help people improve their development needs. Yeah. Beyond a point, that's the wrong way to look at it. We need to ask ourselves, how do we play to a person's strengths? Yeah. When you're comfortable under your skin, you will excel in what you do. Yeah, I come from a consumer goods industry. Now just look at the business case. 75% of the decisions are taken by women. Yeah? Most of our consumers are women. Our shoppers are women. Won't it be sad if we do not represent the consumer base in our management team? So there is a very strong business case. Leave aside the social justice part. Yeah, and today I have seen, forget India. Before coming to India and South Asia, I used to run the Unilever business in North Africa and Middle East. And when I took over as the chair in 2008, we had only 2 women working in our Saudi office. Yeah? Now, Saudi Arabia, today under Mohammed bin Salman, is a much more progressive country. This was, we're talking about 15 years back, very different scenario. And when I left as the chair of North Africa, Middle East, we had 48 women working in our office. And, first very important bit was that we said, we have to make Unilever Arabia the best place for women to work for. And that time we had a rule that you need to have a separate physical space for women. And to meet the laws of the country, we had to do that. But the women we recruited, none of them ever sat there. Because that's the kind of comfort we had done. Then we had a law in Arabia that if you want to travel outside your country, you need a written permission of your husband or your guardian. Yeah? So what I said is, that applies when you travel alone. Yeah? You bring anyone along with you, and we will pay the money for that person. Yeah? Now, you have to create both the hardware and the software. But women, you have to assert yourself. That part no one is going to do for you. You will have good bosses who will support you, who will be your sponsor. But at the end of the day, you need to pick up the challenge and come from a belief that you can do most jobs which men can do. That's how we have grown up our daughters. I'll give you an insight. We have got 2 wonderful twin daughters. Yeah, they are now entrepreneurs and they are building the brands in the right possible way. And when we had our twin daughters, my wife Mona was very clear. We don't want to have a 3rd child. And you know why? Because she said, I don't want my daughters to feel that we had a 3rd child because we wanted a boy in the family. That is the kind, and a lot of it has to do with you women yourselves. So, today the world is at your feet. I don't think, at least in my lifetime, there's been a better opportunity for women to succeed in India and at the world at large. Yeah?
Do we have any further questions? Yes, ma'am. Can we get a mic passed to the lady out here? And may we request everyone in the room to kindly maintain the decorum. Thank you.
You have a loud enough voice.
Hi, my name is Saundara. So when I was 20 years old, interviewing for my first job back at Glitch, first of all of my first brands, everything I started with HUL.
Yeah, because they are the best brands in the world.
And I remember my first question with my creative director back then was, I think I must have mentioned that I'm a person of strong morals and ethics. And he had asked me in my interview, do you think you're well suited for advertising then? And I am sure he didn't mean it in a bad way. I'm sure he was leading to some place, but I think that's something that's always stuck in my head. As a person who's been leading Unilever for so long, with numerous brands under your portfolio, where does that line, or how do you balance that morals and ethics versus selling a product in whatever capacity possible? Like, how do you do that?
No, thank you for that. First, most importantly, you have to come from a perspective that business is a force for good. and the brands also are a force for good. Yeah, is many times people get a perspective that the age and the days of brand are over. They're completely wrong. Yeah, because brands are not going anywhere. And the most important bit, when you look at it from a brand perspective, is again a purpose. The second is performance. And I think in today's world, thanks to data and technology, personalization. Yeah. Now, brand has to have a point of view. A point of view doesn't mean that you will end up greenwashing. Or just for the sake of having a point of view, you would articulate something which has got nothing in sync with the essence of a brand. Your brand say and your brand do have to move in tangent. If you don't do it, it will be called off very soon. You have to look at examples of timeless brands. Yeah? And let me give you a small example. You know, let me pick up one of my favorite brands, Lifebuoy. And Lifebuoy is all about health, family health. And this was during COVID. Yeah? And all of us, this was the first wave of COVID, most of us were ensconced in our homes. We were operating from home. But we were into essential goods. Our factories were running, the people on the feet on the ground, our distribution was running. And I used to do virtual factory visits. And in one of the visits, I asked a factory shop floor blue collared worker कि आपको फैक्ट्री आने में डर नहीं लगता है? तो वो बोलता है कि मुझे डर तो लगता है साहब. तो मैंने बोला आपकी फैमिली आपको आने देती है? बोलता है नहीं साहब, जब तक हम वापस नहीं जाते हैं उनको बड़ी बेचैनी रहती है. तो मैंने बोला आप क्यों आते हैं फैक्ट्री? He stopped, looked back. From a soap line which was running, he picked up a bar of Lifebuoy, showed it to me and said, "Saab, isse desh ki suraksha hogi." That's what purpose is all about. Yeah, if your consumers can think in that way, then you have delivered the brand promise. But you have to live up to it. It can't be that a brand doesn't deliver on the promises that you make. So if someone asks you that, hey, young lady, create an advertising which has got nothing to do with the functionality of the product or the essence of the brand, put your foot down and say, no, that's not what I'm going to do. But if you stick to the brand promise, the essence of the brand, and it is in sync with the functionality of the product, then you can become as creative as possible and traverse from the minds of the consumers to the heart of the consumers. That's how you build great brands. So stick to your values.
Good evening, Mr. Mehta.
Hi, good evening.
As the former chairman of Hindustan Unilever, I have a question for you. How do you or your former company feels about losing out on one of your biggest talents, the legendary, iconic comedian Johnny Lever? And if the younger people in the room probably don't know the anecdote, if you would like to share that with us. But yes, how do you or your company feel about losing out on one of your biggest talents?
How do I?
Or your former company feels about losing out on your biggest talent, which is the comedy icon Johnny Lever, yes.
So let me tell you, I think the most important bit is, an institution is more important than any individual. Yeah? Hindustan Unilever has been in the country for 90 years. And during this 90-year period, it has been a market leader. we would like it to be remain the market leaders for 90 more years and beyond. So that's the first important bit. Institution is bigger than any individual. The second important bit is, very often we are the employer of choice. There have been about, last count, around 500 CXOs in India and abroad who proudly wear a badge. We have been trained by Hindustan Unilever. That's the reason it's called as the CEO factory. Yeah? Now I have a perspective here. Many times people ask me, you have lost a talent. So I'm very clear that if we have lost a talent, then that company needs the talent more than what we do. And for me, it's a service to the nation. We provide talent to India Inc. Right? Now, for me, working for Unilever was not just a job. Yeah, it was an emotion. I might not have got the $60 billion of market cap that I created, but I felt the same way as if I owned the company. That's the owner's mindset. Yeah? So that's the same philosophy with which we build leaders in the company. And I would like HUL to flourish, but I would never look back. I was a trustee. I ran the business for 10 years. I left it better than what I inherited the business. And now we have got a great set of leaders who will take it to the next milestone, to the next height. That's what great companies are. There has to be a smooth succession. For me, I'm excited about my next journey. So watch the space.
Do we have further questions? Yes. Hi. Can we have a mic, please, passed? And just to say it's the last question because we really have to go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Mehta, for your time. So last question.
Hi. I think the question that Pratul was asking was about Johnny Lever. He said, how do you feel about losing one of your talents in the form of Johnny Lever? And would you like to...
I'm sorry I didn't get you. Okay.
So I'll use my question to clarify Pratul's if you want to narrate that anecdote.
Sorry, thank you for that. I'm sorry, I didn't get your question. And, Johnny Lever, there have been many creative, great people working in our company. And we always celebrate them. And that is the reason we have a very strong alumni network. You often say that a person leaves the company, but his connections with HUL never die. Yeah, so whether it is Johnny Lever or any other Lever, yeah, I would say that when he used to work for us, whoever used to work for us, our objective would have been to get the best out of them. And even when they leave the organization, our objective is to ensure that they remain proud of the company. So it's not about a particular individual. I think it applies to everyone who works for us. Thank you.